Hey everybody, John here from IncomeMesh.com, and in today's video we're going to continue the dogfight between Thrive Themes and Kartra for the best marketing platform for your small business. And in the previous video we talked about the page builders, Thrive Architect versus the Kartra page builder, and I'll link up that video somewhere around here on the menu here for you. But in today's video we're going to focus in just on the opt-in form capabilities. That is the Thrive Leads plugin from Thrive Themes, and it's going to be the opt-ins form feature for Kartra. Okay, so in today's video we're going to focus around three different topics that I like on Kartra's side and three areas that I think that Thrive Architect does a much better job. Okay, go ahead and dive in. Okay, so the first thing on the Kartra side we're going to talk about is how easy it is to add custom fields as you're creating the form itself. And some of these benefits are just because Kartra is that all-in-one platform, where normally if you're in WordPress, you're doing certain things in WordPress, you're doing certain things in ConvertKit or MailerLite or whatever email provider you're using, and you're just bouncing between a bunch of different tabs. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new form inside my Kartra account by clicking plus form. We'll call it test for you and create it. And so immediately right here, you have the default first name and email address. But what's great about Kartra is you can go through and hit a new field and create fields as you go. So if you've already made some fields, they'll show up here. For example, I created something down here. But we'll go ahead and create a new field together. We'll call it a custom field. We'll name this one, let's say we're going to make a new one. We'll name this breed of dog because I'm building a kennel website right now. And we'll call this a drop down. So here you've got several options that you won't find in Thrive Leads right off the bat. So we'll make this a drop down menu. We'll call this dog type, breed. We'll make it a required field and we'll say small breed, medium breed, and large breed. Add. Okay, we'll add the field. And now, automatically you have that field in your email marketing platform, in your page builder, anywhere that you'd reference it, it's already added in, which is great. So we'll save this and go next. The next thing I really like about Kartra's opt-in form features is the smart automations that are built in to Kartra directly when you're creating the opt-in form. So here I'm walking through the wizard, and when we reach the automations tabs, you have a ton of options here that I can only really scratch the surface in this short video. But based on what they fill in, you can assign tags to them. What's amazing is that because of that custom field, you can even assign specific tags to the answer that they selected when they were signing up. So they have a small breed, you can give them a certain tag, and a large breed, a different tag. This is amazing when it comes to the next point we're about to talk to. But just the idea behind tagging people right upon sign up is so much easier and more fluid with Kartra because it's that all-in-one platform than you'll find pretty much anywhere else. So for example, on this advanced automations here, we can go ahead and change this and say that if the lead fills in the form, and if the lead filled in the custom field of breed of dog to be a certain type of dog, let's just say small breed, we can actually send them to dynamic content on the thank you page that's relevant to only owners with small breeds. This is something that is very powerful when you get into segmenting your audience, and I have another video about behavioral adaptive marketing using Kartra, and I'll also link that one up there in the corner for you to take a look at as well. So that is an amazing feature and pretty advanced in the Kartra platform. The last feature that I really like about Kartra's opt-in features is how easy it is to design a pretty good looking opt-in form. Now I'll go ahead and say that you can do more with Thrive, but I find that Thrive is just a little more difficult to make it look exactly right. In Kartra, because it is a little bit more drag and drop, is in my opinion easier to use. So you have two options here when you're building your forms. You can automatically embed it into the page that you're using it for, like the opt-in page, where there's zero styling at all, which is obviously the easiest option. But if, let's say you have a blog on a WordPress as well, you want to be able to embed a form onto that site, you can do that pretty easily here with their form builder. So we'll launch that real quick. And here at the form builder, we can select the form type. So this is a widget that's just going to embed somewhere. Here's a pop-up where it's going to link to a button. When they click the button, it's going to pop up on them. A slider that's going to slide in from the side of the screen, and a smaller slider that's going to take up a small portion of the screen. So let's go ahead and use the button pop-up as an example here. We'll select that, and we'll choose a template. And here's what I mean. So there are more templates in Thrive Leads, but they're all very similar, where a lot of the templates here are pretty unique. They're all very different, and they give you a good starting place to go from. So let's go ahead and pick this guy here, pretty simple form. And let's get out. And once you've selected it, you can still edit everything you'd like as well as you'd want to. So here, for example, we can go to this section here and say, instead of 50% complete, say almost complete. You can also customize the button. So if we click the purple here on the button, you can change what the button says. So sign up and how large the button is going to be, extra large, change the font size and the font type. And you can change the color, obviously. Let's make that blue. And there you go. So it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and save this and exit it. And when it's time to embed this onto your website, they give you a little JavaScript snippet. What's great about this is you embed it in once, and even if you go back and adjust the design later on, you don't need to do anything else in WordPress to make sure that it stays up to date. It always stays linked up to this form. All right, so here I am now in an example website in WordPress that I was playing around with earlier. Now let's say we wanted to add a sign up button right here underneath this contact header. All you have to do is go into your HTML, and every builder is going to be a little bit different. I'm using Elementor for this tutorial. And I'm just going to take that HTML snippet, or the JavaScript snippet from Kartra, and plug it in. And I'm going to hit update. And there you go. You can see how it looks there. And if we get out of here and just go ahead and preview this design, as I scroll down, you'll now find this button here underneath that text. And when I click it, boom, you've got your opt-in form. One thing that kind of irks me a little bit about Kartra is that you'll notice, because of the responsiveness, when you first load it up, sometimes the text is like trying to find how big it wants to be, and it'll kind of adjust a little bit on the fly. It's probably just me being a little too picky, but you'll notice that if you load up an opt-in form in like the widget area, it might kind of shrink and fit just right. And it's just kind of a quirky thing that doesn't really bother you. I don't know if it really hurts your conversions. Just one thing that I notice. All right, moving on to Thrive Leads. So the first thing I like about Thrive Leads is the fact you have so much flexibility in how your opt-in forms operate, and that's called multiple states with Thrive Leads. Let me show you how that works. Let's create a form here, and when we're given the option to select our template, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. Now, a lot of these look very similar, a button that's going to open up one form, or just your opt-in forms here, but you notice some like this where there's actually two different buttons. So when I go into this template, you'll see there's actually two different buttons, and those two different buttons are going to open separate offers or separate opt-in forms. One may be a link directly to a product, one may be an opt-in form to sign up. And that's all managed here with this little area down here where you can see different states. So for example, this one is going to go to state number 1, which will open up a different version of this form, which will give you that lead generation opt-in, but the second button would actually open a second state, which would be for business ideas instead of the product launch. So a lot of flexibility here. This could even go on and on. You could put an entire survey into your opt-in form here with Thrive Leads. The challenge with it is it's just a bit more complicated to set up, but if you have a very specific offer or a reason to kind of segment your list right there, the opt-in form using this method, it can be engaging and kind of cool for your audience to go through as well. The second feature in Thrive Leads I want to talk about is the Smart Links feature, and this is one that I haven't seen done anywhere else, which I think is really, really impressive by Thrive. And essentially what it is a special link that will be generated by Thrive, right here, Smart Links, and you basically tell Thrive where you want to send your visitors that are coming from your email list. So if you want to send them to a special blog post you just published, but they're already on your email list, Thrive allows you to basically dynamically show different content to those subscribers than to visitors who have not yet subscribed. Now you might be thinking, why would you want to do that? Well, it's super powerful because for one, it allows you to hide all the subscription forms that are on your website for people that have already subscribed, right? That's pretty logical. These are people who already know you, like you, they've given you their information. Why would you pester them with your pop-ups, with your slide-ins, with all the other ways you have to convert them into subscribers if you've already achieved that goal? So that's one reason you could use it. The second reason you can use it is going back to the states from the previous point. You can actually create a subscriber state where if somebody's already a subscriber, you can show them something in the sidebar, but you can make it totally different and totally relevant to them. So if they're in a blog post about a book, you could actually offer them, maybe if they're not a subscriber, you could offer them the first chapter for free. But if they are a subscriber, you can maybe offer them the entire ebook for a purchase at a 10% discount or whatever the case may be. So that allows you to be very relevant, hyper-targeted to your subscribers while still being respectful. Pretty good job, Thrive. The last thing I want to touch on when it comes to Thrive leads is the power they have in display rules. And what display rules are is when you're creating groups of opt-in forms, like I have some in-content forms, some post footers, a whole bunch of different things here, you can decide exactly when and where those guys show up. Let me show you how that works. Here in my Thrive leads group, I can go to my settings. And this can get a little overwhelming, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of settings, a lot of categories in Thrive leads that can be a little bit overwhelming. But here your logic can say, I want to show all these opt-in forms only for specific blogging categories on specific posts. I can exclude specific pages and posts. You see, this can get extremely complicated, but if you hone it in, it can be valuable for you to make sure that you're showing relevant offers to the right people. A lot of marketing platforms will allow you to put a pop-up or a form at the bottom of your posts, but it's always the same pop-up or it's always the same item. Here with this display settings, you can create different ones that are relevant for every category and have them only display when it makes sense. Also very good. All right, so that was a lot of different features within each Kartra and Thrive. I could spend hours talking about each one of them individually, but I wanted to give you three of the features that I thought really stuck out between each of the platforms and give you my honest thoughts about it. So what I feel is if you want to be a very advanced marketer and use segmentation very strongly and you're not big on blogging, I think Kartra's integrated approach is going to give you a better result for those that do not want to blog on WordPress. So if all you want to do is maybe run a webinar funnel or run Facebook ads to some opt-ins and then convert people through your follow-up email sequence, I think Kartra is going to do a very good job and is going to do it with a bit less complexity than Thrive would. However, if you want to build a long-term game content marketing business that's based on, Google traffic and based on organic growth and putting out a lot of content, I really think that WordPress is the way to go for that. And Thrive themes and Thrive leads, they just work better with WordPress. I've seen other people make Kartra a success integrating with a WordPress blog, but there's just some things that start to get lost in translation. Specifically those display rules, you can't really replicate that with Kartra because you can't have that deep integration with WordPress, at least yet. So if you're a WordPress user, strongly consider using Thrive. And if you are a Kartra person or just getting started and not quite sure if you want to dive into the blogging game, Kartra would be maybe a good first place to dip your toes in the water because I do find it more approachable and easy for beginners. The only challenge is there's a steeper starting price with Kartra than there is with Thrive Leads. The cheapest price with Kartra, I believe, is $89 per month. And with Thrive Leads, it's around $20 per month. But then you have to stack on your hosting on top of that if you use a premium theme, etc., etc. So weigh the pros and cons. I don't think you can really go wrong with either option, but just know they're there for different audiences. I hope you found this video helpful. And as always, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when I release my next video, and leave a comment if you enjoyed it. Take care.